Sometimes I have a good idea for a video, but can never quite fully flesh it out. All I'm left with are a few scraps, sometimes good ideas, but not enough to actually make a video on their own. So I decided to put some of these things together into one video. I now present you with 5 things I don't understand. 1. Internet shortcuts for terms that are longer than just saying the actual word. Okay, this is a weird one, so bear with me. I used to play Runescape, and there was a limit on the number of characters you could have in a chat message. It was fairly small too, probably less than a tweet. So naturally, people would talk with shortened words. We would call lobsters lobs or lobbies, swordfish were swordies. But following this trend was one that really didn't make sense. The shortcut for sharks was sharkies, a word that was more letters than just saying the actual thing, thereby making the entire act of modifying the word pointless. But I guess RuneScape never made much sense to begin with. I mean, this is the same game where buying girlfriends was a pretty common practice. Then again, the player base was mainly 12-year-olds, so what can you expect? 2. Memes. I could probably make a whole video about this, but a few other people have already, and everyone knows that it's in the rules of YouTube that you can't make a video about a topic someone else has already made a video about, or you're a copycat or something. Unless they're smaller than you, then it's okay. Anyway, memes. You know, I get a laugh out of a meme every once in a while. A lot of them are dark comedy or jabs at the oddness of social norms. You know, stuff I like. What I don't understand is people's need to repost them over and over and over. Like, yeah, we get it. It was funny the first time. Now it's just stupid. Stop posting it. Stop! And it never ends. Except for one day when they are deemed a dead meme and you get made fun of for posting it. Where do people get these? Is there a website they frequent to get updated on the latest memes? Who originally creates these? Who decides when a meme is dead? Is there a council that votes on these things? This overuse of memes has bred this entire generation of kids who only speak in memes. They have no other way to communicate. It's like watching aliens talk in some other language. One posts a meme and then another responds with a meme and then others join in and it just becomes like this for hours. It's gotten so bad I had to ban the use of memes in most channels in my Discord. There is a dedicated meme channel and it's just spammed constantly. Why do they do this? What does it mean? I don't get it. Take this one for example. It's a meme called Loss. Now, as far as I understand it, it originated from a comic that was talking about a miscarriage. Now, it was never funny, or supposed to be funny, and no one found it funny. People made fun of it because it was a very serious topic, depicted in this kind of cartoony style, and just out of place with the rest of this artist's comics. And also, they were making fun of it based on some of the things the guy had said about miscarriages. So, people created some parodies making fun of it, but then everyone just kind of took it as this funny, abstract thing. Like, it's the placement of the characters that's funny? I wonder how many people who post Lost memes actually know the history of the meme and why it became a meme in the first place. Or maybe memes are funny because they don't make sense. Like, it's just this way to be trolly and confuse people. But then other people say, ooh, meme, and just post it everywhere, and then everyone is laughing even though they don't actually know why or what they're laughing at. This seems like the case with reference-based memes. A few people post it because they understand the reference and find it funny, but then other people just see that it's being reposted and assume it's funny, so then they repost it even though they don't understand the context or what's even being referenced. I've asked people to explain certain memes to me, and they can't explain why it's funny, or its origin, or anything about it. 3. People who get excited about video games. There is a certain childlike wonder and beauty that goes along with the naivety of being excited about a game that's about to come out. But by the time you're an adult, you'll have been burned enough to know that you should never get your hopes up, and yet it seems like some people just don't learn. Whenever something comes out, there's all this hype over it. People act like it's going to be the best thing ever. And why do they think that? Well, because that's what's marketed to them. The people telling them these things are the same companies and websites that we know lie. Surely people don't trust companies like EA, but as soon as they start paying off reviewers to say good things about the game, everyone gets all excited, only to be let down when the game comes out. Like always. I think the only company that ever actually releases anything that lives up to the hype is Nintendo. And that's only because almost every game they release is just the same game again, repackaged, so people know exactly what to expect. The worst thing is when people somehow still don't understand things like how pre-rendered gameplay works. Basically, what developers do sometimes is release a small section of a game that's playable, and that one section is super highly polished and the graphics are amazing and it plays at 60 frames per second. And then people get excited like, well, this is only the beta and it looks so good, that means it'll look even better when it's released. No, you're wrong. That's never been the case. It'll look worse and run at half the frames, like it always does. Why can't people figure this shit out? 4. Sales tax. So before you get in a huff about paying for roads or whatever, yeah, I know why sales tax is necessary. I just don't understand why it's implemented in the way it is. So in America and a few other countries, when you go into a store, the price you see is not the price you pay. Basically, there's a sales tax associated with each product. In Virginia, the sales tax is 5.3%, meaning that if you buy something that costs $1, what you actually pay is $1.05. So I'm not so concerned about the amount you pay as I am the idea that you have to do math in your head to try and figure out how much you'll actually be paying. Why not just include sales tax into the price of the item? Just label it as $1.05. I mean, you have computers that can automatically sort this shit out and decide how much goes to the state government anyway. Why not make it a little easier on the customer? Also, I have a suspicion that some places just lie about sales tax so they can charge you more. I usually notice this when I order a pizza. The pizza itself will be $10 and then the sales tax will be something like $2. And I just stare at it thinking, that's 20%. I know the tax isn't that high, but no one else seems to notice or mind, so I don't say anything. Speaking of food, at one point food wasn't taxed because you need it to live, but now it is. I don't get it. 5. Gambling laws. So in the US, it's illegal to gamble or have a gambling establishment in most places unless you're Native American. This is really strange to me. Why Native Americans? Yeah, I know we slaughtered their people and took their land and all that, but why gambling specifically? And why is gambling illegal everywhere else in the first place? It's even illegal to just get together with some friends and play poker while betting nickels and dimes. I guess maybe because the government can't tax it and their general philosophy is to tax people every time money changes hands. But that kind of doesn't make sense because people already own small businesses and have to claim what they make, so why can't people just be in charge of recording their gambling winnings so they can be taxed on it? I mean, small businesses and gamblers are equally capable of lying about what they make. The same thing goes for prostitution. I think they're just kind of morality laws, leftovers from conservative Christian America that are just outdated and no one wants. So yeah, there are a lot of little things that just kind of bug me, but I don't really know enough about to make full videos on each topic. Well, before I go, let's have a word from some of my patrons. Kothorix says, game hype is just stupid, but honestly, I can't blame people who get hyped. Video games are a form of escapism for a lot of people. They make up a massive part of some people's lives, so the idea of something finally hitting all the right notes, something you can dive into and it just feels right. That's a feeling that's too good for some people to suppress. I think of it as similar to when you see people get really excited because some talented insert sport here player got picked up by their favorite team. Or when people see their favorite actors, writer, or director working together in an upcoming movie. It's a, now there's no way we can lose mentality, and it's contagious. I suppose, but it'd be more like taking a group of the most molesty actors and directors in Hollywood and putting them together for one movie, and expecting there to be no incidents while working on the movie. AAA developers have a history of sucking, and they'll continue to suck. It's just part of their nature because they need to pump out a product that appeals to as many people as possible instead of being made to be as fun or engaging as possible. They advertise it like it's going to be the greatest thing ever to get people to buy it. They don't give a shit about how good the game is once they have your money. They've done this over and over and people still fall for the marketing gimmicks. Furryflesh says, I don't get it. Why is it that the same lies given in every gaming preview from the same people still capture audiences? I'll admit I fell into the hype train with Star Wars Battlefront 2 and I'm still pretty mad about the results. But I wasn't looking at the EA logo like I should have been. I was looking at the DICE logo. I kinda like the Battlefield games, so I thought Battlefront was in safe hands. And though the game itself functions fine, we all know the real problem, and though I agree with your statement of Nintendo's consistent output of decent games, I disagree with your claim that all their games are the same. Yeah, some are, Mario games almost never change, but what about when they took a dip into a genre they'd never touched and produced the masterpiece that is Splatoon? Huh. Did anyone actually play Splatoon after the first 2 weeks it was released? Anyway, yeah, that EA logo is pretty toxic. EA is like a lich or something. Everything they touch is drained of its soul and turned into a cash-hungry zombie. Dranslin says, I'm beginning to get the feeling with all the meme chatters going about that I may just be reaching that old point. When you don't understand anymore what the younger individuals are even talking about and their use of language just simply hurts those delicate sensibilities of mine. It really is bad when it seems to require significant effort to get a remotely good conversation going, but then again I've held entire conversations and Telegram stickers too. I guess I can't judge too harshly on that. As for the game's hype and graphics these days only serve to kill my hopes for them. It feels like anyone saying that a game looks nice is just offering an excuse as to why other parts are subpar when it launches. I definitely feel you on the getting old part. That's just what it is, isn't it? Language changes and people talk in memes now. It's like some episode of a sci-fi show where everyone just communicates through emoticons. And yeah, I know exactly what you mean about people complimenting the graphics of the game and not caring about anything else. That's one of the reasons games lately have suffered so much. I mean, graphics have always been improving, but I think it was about the PS2 era when graphics started becoming the only thing that mattered about a game for some developers. Honestly, I prefer Super Nintendo graphics. Those awesome 2D sprites were always so appealing to me, much more so than any realistic 3D game that came out during the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox era. Rofe says, cancerous meme humor, things like Here Comes Dat Boy, Cold Steel the Hedgehog, Ect, is in a lot of ways the adult analog to childhood idiot humor. As kids, we get a real kick out of idiocy, but as we grow up, it gets less funny and we start to require more wit, shock, or irony to amuse us. Cancerous memes are what happens when you add a developed sense of irony to idiot's humor. Often, lots of time and effort goes into what seems like it only takes 10 minutes to create, and it's all carefully engineered to make the poster appear as brain-damaged and cringy as possible. The result is that they get laughs from other people who understand the meme culture and understand they're being ironic. The viewer will often respond with their own meme to keep up the idiot's facade. The OP laughs and the cycle goes on. Now, if the meme is being reposted to the point where it becomes annoying, then what the posters have done is successfully added a second layer of irony to the shitcake. If they already seemed autistic for posting a crayon drawing of Sonic in the first place, how much cringier are they now that it stopped being funny 500 editions ago, and they're still reposting it like a hyper 12-year-old on Facebook? This apparent lack of social awareness is itself part of the joke, a meta joke if you will, and if you don't get it, the poster is probably laughing at your expense. Finally, a meme dies when it's neither new enough to be novel or overused enough to be obnoxious. And don't worry, Featherbutt, I'm slow on the uptake here too. We can be old people together. That's probably the most in-depth meme theory I've ever heard, and while I do see what you're talking about from time to time, I also wonder if instead of people posting memes pretending to be socially awkward, cringy, autistic 12-year-olds, it actually is socially awkward, cringy, autistic 12-year-olds. Now, before I go, there is one final thing. How do you like my new lair? Why don't you go take a look at some of the other art by Nikki Hanabira over on Tumblr? Some really great stuff over there. Anyway, I'm Kothorix, and you have a wonderful day. Hey everyone, this is just a reminder that I do gameplay streams on Twitch every weekday at 9 PM to 1 AM Eastern. If you want to get a hold of me, the best way is through Twitter. DMs are always open. Finally, I want to thank everyone who supports me on Patreon and Twitch. You make all of this possible.